Okay, all right, let's look at classes now. Okay, so classes are the next topic for us. Now class, okay, see, up until this point whatever you have learned, if you uh, have given a deep thought to it, you have learned whatever is available already, you're just manipulating it. Whatever available in the language, that itself you're manipulating. You're not creating anything, something new out of the ordinary, right? So how, let's just say you want to capture the concept of building a house, okay, in your programming. You have not done that because whatever has been whatever the topics that have come so far, um, allow us to manipulate only numbers, integers, strings, right? So all those things. But if you want to create something new, okay, that is when we use the class concept. Okay, class is the keyword used to create a class. Okay, and you pass a name of the class. Remember the difference between function. Here function will have this open parenthesis and closing parenthesis, whereas function will not have it. So class sample, and I will simply write pass for now. So pass is just to used as a placeholder. Okay, so if you execute this, this will work. And same way, much like how you assign the values to variables, so here also you can call sample, because you have not defined it anything, so it's fine. And if you check type of x is a main dot sample. So the thing you have to understand is it's a class. Every class belongs to the main class. Okay, and what is the name of the class here? Sample. Okay, this underscore underscore main underscore underscore, we'll come to this when we talk more about classes, how this is being used, etc. But you have to know that every class is a part of main class. Okay, that much you know. This is a simple way to create a class. Here, okay, I have not defined any methods or attributes. I will define and then I'll talk about those. Up until this point, is this clear? So just creation of the class. Okay, okay. Now I want to let's just say capture a real world uh, objects. Okay, real world events that we happen. Okay, or let me, or real world objects, even events or objects, anything in the real world you want to capture in programming. Okay, that is when you use class. Now one such thing is, let me capture something called an animal dog. Okay, so this dog, what I'm saying is it's a class. Okay, and I'm going to define every class. Every class will have something called a constructor. Much like how if you want to build a house, you need a mason, right? So who can put cement bricks together. So this init constructor can be compared to that mason. Its job is it will accept whatever you give it. Okay, and whatever you give it, it will use, and based on how you code it, it will allow you to build the class and its methods. Here, in a very simple way, what I have done is I have initialized this, I have defined this init constructor. Okay, this constructor, the first element it talks to is itself. Okay, remember this, always when you define this init constructor, self has to be passed. I mean, you can call it anything you want, abcd, whatever, z, anything, um, but we call it self to tell other programmers that this is talking to itself. Okay, so that is the first thing. And second thing is, you can pass anything you want. Okay, name of the dog, age of the dog, breed of the dog, okay, color of the dog, whatever you want you can pass. And you can also make use of args and quarks here. Okay, so once you pass these, this constructor now starts to understanding what each of those values you have passed. And the way how it understands is, the way how it tells the entire class what you have passed is by assigning it a method. You see, it's it's what it is doing is, first it's saying, okay, I'm talking to myself, I mean, as in, it is initializing, it is telling dog that be ready to accept something, some methods or variables or something. And each time you pass a variable here, it will convert it, it will assign it itself to a method, so that you can call it outside the class. So here I can type name self dot name self dot age self dot color, and I assign it. See, this doesn't exist. If you use list, there is nothing called list dot name, okay, list dot age, list dot color, right? So these things are being created. Okay, that is the job of a init constructor. It creates new things. So it's creating something called name with name, age with age, color with color. Okay, if this is clear, okay, then everything else slowly it will be easy. So that's all. If I've created a simple dog class wherein I have told the constructor, okay, you have to construct with some of the attributes I'm passing. Okay, these are called as parameters or attributes, whatever you call. So these are generally attributes means parameters only, variables. Okay, methods means functions. Okay, every time I kept calling, saying methods and functions, you might be confused. Okay, why is he saying methods sometimes, why is he saying functions? Because both are same. Okay, all right. Now that I have defined it, I have only defined it, I have not called it. What I'm gonna say is, let's just say there is a person by name Sam who has a dog. Okay, and there is another person by name Frank who also has a dog. Now this dog has different attributes. Here I'm going to pass breed. What type of breed it is? Labrador. So I will just say lab. Okay. And name, he has called the name as I don't know. I'm just something like Tommy. Age is, let's just say 3 years, and then color is, it has white color. Okay, and this dog Sam, the Frank has, its breed name is I don't know, husky maybe. So name is something like puppy, or um, okay. Age is just 1. Color is, okay, let's just say brown or something. Okay, brown or white or whatever. So here what is happening is, I'm calling the class again. Okay, I have initialized what are all the things you need, you can be ready. So this is this def init, you can understand this as you're readying a canvas, you're readying a painting with all your necessary tools. That's what this is. Okay, now here you're started to paint by assigning it to a variable. Now you're actually calling it. So if I call it, now I can access whatever I want. If I say Sam dot breed, okay, versus Frank dot breed. So Sam has a breed called Labrador. Frank has a breed called Husky. Now if you notice something, I no longer need the dog. I am not referring to that class anymore. I am directly accessing whatever the attributes that have been created by my constructor. Okay, so here I'm also not passing brackets. If you pass brackets, it's not a callable. Okay, so what it means is, whenever you define a class, three things you have to notice. one, you have to pass this self. Okay, after you pass this self, when you call the function, second thing is you can call it with dot, but no specification of brackets. Okay, here also no specification of brackets. Okay, so that you remember this is specific to classes. And if I want to access Sam dot name, okay, his dog name, that's his name is Tommy, and Frank's dog name is Puppy. Okay, now you notice what happened. So just using these names, I have created an object called dog. It's a class. Okay, basically everything in Python is an object. Okay, including a class. Okay, but what I'm saying is I have created a real world scenario. I have brought it into programming. Now, so each time I refer to Sam's dog. Okay, I will always have these attributes. I can keep on adding the attribute, whatever the attribute I want, I can keep on adding. So I'll be able to get those attributes assigned based on the person here, name based on the variable name. Is this understood up until this point? Okay, all right. Yes, you can use anything. You want to use ABCD, whatever you want, whatever you use there should be used here. Okay, if you use this, you have to use this here. Okay, if I execute, it will work. If I execute it, you see, it will work, no issues. Okay, but self is used, like I said in the very beginning also, that it's kind of a habit. It has become a habit for programmers, as well as it's a kind of a agreement, gentleman agreement, to use self here. That is one. To capitalize this, even if you don't capitalize, it will work. Okay, but when you capitalize, instantly someone will know, okay, this is, if you call this here, see, this syntax looks exactly like you're referring to a function. Okay, in function also you can do the exact same thing. This line specifically, not this part you can't do, but this part, at least the calling part, you can do. The moment you see this capital letter, someone will instantly know it's a class, it's not a function, because out of habit, programmers have come to understanding that classes, first letter of class will be capitalized, whereas first letter of function will not be capitalized. Okay, so that is what it is. So you can use self or you can use anything else, but usually everybody uses self, so let's stick to that. Okay, otherwise if someone writes one type of code, another person writes another type of code, becomes difficult. Okay, all right, this is very simple concept. We are going to build upon this concept now. Up until this point, okay, this okay, so here breed, name, age, color are called as attributes. Okay, and this class doesn't have methods. Okay, it has a constructor, it has attributes. Attributes means all these values: breed, name, age, color. Now what is a class? Class is nothing but a blueprint. Blueprint as in it is a method of capturing real world objects into programming. Okay, if someone asks you, that is the definition. You don't have to give the exact definition, but you have to explain them what class does. Class is just a blueprint that defines, or that gives us a way to capture real world objects into coding. Okay, and now we are going to look how to add methods. Up until this point we saw attributes, now we are going to add methods. Now these attributes are fine. Okay, attributes are very much fine, but if you want to add a method is nothing but a function that I already told you. If I define another method, or a function inside it. Let's just say I want to add something like, okay, where does this dog stay? Okay, I will add stay, or let's just say food. What does this dog eat? Okay, if I add food, notice I no longer need those underscores. Okay, this is only for constructor. Here you can define it normally. Okay, and notice one more thing, again I will have to call self. Okay, if I call self for this function, what I'm saying is you have to work with this constructor, okay, to be a part of dog. So def food comma food. Okay, let me type. Yeah, okay, all right. So here I will print, okay, here I will print dog name. What is the dog name? Self dot name. See how I can use elements of some other function into this function, okay, because they are part of same class now. Self dot name eats certain food, whatever the food you passed. um, did anyone request to join? Okay, Ashchana. Okay, so yeah, so self dot name eats food, okay, that much. Now this food is a method, extra method that I have added to this class. If I execute, okay, much like how I called this Sam, okay, I will reassign this dog because what previous assignment didn't have this. That's why I'm just reassigning dog of, or I will call dog. Okay, so just a dog. Notice what is happening. What is happening here? Because dog requires all these arguments. Basically, anything you pass inside this init has to be mandatorily called. But because they are in order, I will specify Labrador. Okay, name, let's just say call him Tommy. Okay, age, let's call 3, comma, color, this time let me call it black. Okay, now Sam has these attributes, but if I type Sam dot food, food of biscuits, see what happened? Okay, this you have to remember. If you don't pass these values, you'll get error because these are positional. They have to be, these have become kind of mandatory. Now they have to be passed. Now I'm accessing this food directly, trying to access function inside a class directly. Okay, so sam dot food, and what kind of food the that I have defined here. Okay, whatever you define here has to be passed, right? So that's what I'm passing. Self dot food I'm passing here. Sam dot food of biscuits, it means automatically self dot name is fetched from the previous one. Okay, and eats food is anyway we are passing. So it says Tommy eats biscuits. Is this clear? How you access the methods or functions? These are methods or functions. Okay, so these are attributes we are passing, defining. Is this clear? Any doubts? No, right? Okay, all right, let's look at another example, so which will give you much better idea. I mean, it's the same thing on um, attributes, classes and functions, but this will give you better idea. This here I want to talk about one more new thing. So see, I had to define def init always inside a class. Always there would be a init. If there is nothing you're passing, at least self has to be there. And in this case, I will be passing radius. Basically, I'm trying to create a class with circle, where in which using the radius, I am going to calculate the area of a circle. So here I have to say self dot radius is equal to radius always. Okay. And self dot area. Okay. Notice how I am not passing the area, because area has to be calculated, and radius only I am passing. Radius into radius. What is that formula? Circle, area of circle is pi r square, right? Pi you have to get somewhere. Pi I'm not going to pass because pi is a constant, right? That is why I will define here pi equals to 3.141415965 something. Okay. So that is the area. So that is the pi. So notice this is the new thing we are defining. Anything you define outside the constructor before that is before init function above here is called as class object attribute. See, these are all normal attributes. That is what we learned here, right? So these are all the attributes, but this became class object attribute. This got high position. So what it means is this class object attribute now is a common to all the functions that you are going to define. This became a common thing to all the functions that are going to be defined now. By default, they'll be able to access pi even without self. Okay, that is what it means. Now, if I want to access this, see, if I had passed it here, I would have very simple access like self dot pi equals to pi. But because I have defined it outside the constructor, I have to call it with circle name. Circle, okay, circle dot pi. Did you get it? Why I am calling this as circle dot pi? Because it is outside the constructor. Constructor is our init. Okay. Now I'm gonna define another method. Why I'm defining another method is, see, by default I'm passing radius as 1. But if I want to change it, let's just say I want to set some other radius, okay, where in which I want to accept, here also self has to pass, where in which I want to accept a new radius. Okay, new radius I will accept, and self dot again radius. Notice this, to the previous radius I am assigning the new radius. I am not typing here self dot new radius equals to new radius, but rather I am modifying the previous radius itself with new radius. Okay, and whatever the area that was generated already here, I am calculating it using new radius. So basically what happened now here is, the concept what came here is, you are using one function, accepting one value, but the modifying the previous value which was in constructor. You're not modifying this one. You're not modifying self dot new radius, but rather modifying the variable of another function. Now this is only possible within a class. If you had to do that using only functions, okay, that would have been a tough thing. Why? Because all the variables are local, right? Then you would have to, what you would have done is, you would have defined one function inside another function, then called it non-local to assign new value to older one. That's what we saw in non-local variable scope, right? So that is how you would have done it. But in classes, you don't have to worry about all of those. You can simply call whatever you want. Self dot area also I'm calling here. See, I'm not calling self dot new area, but I'm rather calling I'm manipulating the previous area only that was defined for me. Is this are you following me? Okay. Now here I'm calculating. Yes. By default init method, yeah, we have to add a init method. Initialize, yeah. Anything you want to add new, you have to construct those using init. Yes, yes. Variable. Yeah, global variable. Something like that, but global within circle, not outside this thing. Outside also you can call, if you call it in this fashion where we called above, right? So that way you can call. Yeah. Yeah, something like global. Yeah, you got it right. So here I'm calculating again. I'm refer. See, every function, new function you define, you have to reference it to self. So basically, that will reference to init. Okay, so I'm returning the self dot radius. What is the this thing? Circumference 2 pi r. Correct. I will add return 2 into. Okay. Either you can use circle dot pi or you can use self dot pi. Now pi is a part of everything, including this. That's why you can call like that. Okay, so either you can call sub dot pi or circle dot pi. Either way, it's fine. 2 pi r. Okay, so that's what this is. This is my simple class circle. Here we looked at class attributes. We are trying to understand by adding more methods how these things work. Now I will say C is equal to circle. Okay. Now for this C, I will I will say if I will try to get what is radius, initial radius. Notice I don't have to pass open bracket close bracket. It is 1. Why? Because default we defined it as 1. And likewise, because with the default radius, what is the default area? That also can be calculated. It is same pi r square, right? R into r is 1, 1 into pi is pi. Okay. So likewise, if you define get circumference, okay, you will get circumference is a method. Okay. But that's what here you have to pay attention and understand. If it was a variable, which is what we passed here, you don't need open bracket close bracket. If it is area, which is again calculated as a variable, you don't need open bracket close bracket. But if it is a method, if it is a function, method or function, both are same, you need a open bracket close bracket. Okay. Now if you notice, the circumference is 2 pi r, 2 times pi value. All right, is this understood? Is this clear how you call all these variables and functions? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you because yeah, because anything, sorry, come again. Mm-hmm. You can directly access PA, sure. Okay, do that. Yeah. Okay, see. So what is happening here is the way how it works is unlike functions. Okay, if it was a function, you could have directly used this. Okay, even if it was not a function, outside the function also you can do this. But if you want to access within a class everything, okay, everything, yeah, 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 that's what I said. See, when I was talking about this, I said that either it can be a circle dot py or it can be self dot py. Both the ways you can do it. Doesn't matter. Okay. Now self dot py, why I have used is to indicate that when you define anything outside the function, okay, automatically your constructor will be referring to, will be talking to it. So it will be grabbing pi value also from here. And when even though you have nowhere defined self dot py, that is still accessible to you. That is what I was trying to show. We are building upon the concepts, right? Here I showed you class, object, attribute. So new things I'm trying to show. That's all. You can use circle also. No issues. Okay, if you are comfortable with that, you can use that. Okay. All right. Now I have not used set radius, right? Now for set radius c dot, if I pass set radius, it is a method. That's what I said. No, for methods we have to use brackets. Okay, so just remember that. So set the, if I pass new radius, okay, new radius is here. If I pass new radius as 4 or maybe 3, whatever, okay, now new radius is set. The moment new radius is set, your old radius value also is changed now. Okay, now because it's changed, if I call the same area and same circle, everything should be different now. What happened? See, the way how we have handled logically here is, whatever the new radius you pass is getting assigned to old radius, replacing this default value. Hence, because old radius is changing, area is also changing, and because area is using the old radius, circumference is also changing. Okay, that's how you have different values here. Are these concepts clear? Okay. Okay. Swapnil, are you asking a doubt or something? Okay, if this is clear, then I will stop the recording here.